Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the meeting of April 24th, 2025. Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that we acknowledge the Coast Salish people, specifically the Shiano First Nation in whose territory the district is built, and our neighbors, the Suk and the First Nations, are making decisions as we are for the betterment of their community. And so we wish them well in making good decisions, financial decisions, as we're making tonight. Okay, Council, we have an agenda before you. I just want to amend it to include public participation on number 4. And so reports for action will be 5 and adjournment will be 6. With that, I'll take a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Gray, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councillor Epp is not with us this evening. She's on assignment. Then we've got presentations. I'd like to invite Miss Lenora Lee from KPMG, reporting out on the District of Metchosin draft consolidated financial statements year ending December 31st, 2024. Welcome, Ms. Lee. Nice to see you again.
Thanks for having me in the meeting tonight. I just wanted to provide some information around the audit process as well as our overall audit status. KPMG has substantially completed the audit of the district's financial statements, and we've met with council to discuss our findings and our audit results. We have prepared a clean and unqualified audit opinion, which indicates that there's no material misstatements in the financial statements. There's no outstanding matters that remain unresolved at this point in time. The next steps are acceptance of the financial statements by council, and at that time we'll be ready to release our final audit report. The financial statements are referred to as consolidated in that it also includes the 7.2% ownership of the district of West Shore Parks and Recreation Centre Society. As at December 31st, 2024, financial assets of the district were 26.7 million and capital assets were 35.6 million. There was an increase year over year in financial assets, mostly due to a surplus that was recognized during the course of the year. On the total liabilities front, those were 5 million this year compared to 4 million last year, primarily due to more invoices owing at the end of the year and some additional grants that were received in 2024 and remain in deferred revenue until eligible expenses are incurred in future years. Some of those grants relate to, for example, the Climate Action Grant, where the province prepaid 3 years of grants in 2024. The annual surplus of the district for fiscal 2024 was 2 million. This represents a decrease from last year's 4 million annual surplus, mostly due to the receipt in 2023 of the Growing Communities Grant from the province, which was 2.5 million. Excluding this grant, revenues increased about 2% year over year, and expenses increased about 4% during the year. That relates to filling some vacant positions from previous years, the scheduled collective agreement increase in salaries and wages, as well as continuing inflation in other goods and services purchased by the district. The district's overall accumulated surplus represents its net worth at the end of 2024, and that was 57 million. That's comprised of 36 million that has already been spent on capital assets, investment in roads and other infrastructure of the district. It includes 11.4 million of reserves. Those are monies that have been set aside for future expenditures such as capital replacements. There's 7.7 million that has been restricted from operating service for purposes such as policing phase-in, recreation, as well as the unspent monies from the Growing Communities Grant and COVID-19. And lastly, 2.7 million of unrestricted operating surplus. That represents about 33% of annual expenses, which in general is a financially healthy position to be in, to adapt to any unexpected expenses that may arise or have some contingency in place for unexpected events or growth in the future. Those were the highlights of the financial statements that I wanted to touch on. Lastly, just wanted to give a big thanks to management for all of the assistance provided in the audit process. We really appreciated the opportunity to work with a new management team, as well as those that we work with annually, and a really clean process this year. So happy to address any questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your report. Council, do we have any comments or questions on the report from Ms. Lee? Go ahead.
Nothing specific, just thanks to Lenora for the work and to staff for the work that they've done over the year. Much appreciated.
Councillor Shukin online, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't, thank you very much.
Okay.
But just to pass on to Ms. Lee for her diligence and to staff as well for being on top of their game. So, thank you.
That's great. Anybody else?
No, I concur. Always appreciate a thorough report.
So thank you for the report, and as you noted, that this is a clean and unqualified audit. Could you just explain that in a couple of sentences for our participants?
Sure. At the conclusion of our audit, we're required to comment on the overall accuracy of the financial statements. And so our auditor's report is our deliverable that indicates our overall conclusions on the audit. Being clean and unqualified means that we have not identified any material errors in these financial statements. And materiality is a professional judgment area as to what could be the amount of error that could change the decisions of those that are using these financial statements for budget comparisons, for future budget establishment, for evaluating reserves, etc. So a clean and unqualified opinion is the optimal outcome that you would like for your audit, and it indicates that there's no uncorrected audit differences that we've noted that exceed quantitative or qualitative materiality.
Okay. And then the other question that I have or comment is our new CFO determined that we needed new computer accounting software to carry us through. And I'm wondering if you can comment on the new software and how important that is.
Sure. We had some introduction to it this year, and we really like what it's showing so far. We see the benefits in terms of real-time reporting, that the financial statements, once approved, will be coordinated and synchronized with the financial system. And as a result, at any point in time in the future, it doesn't always need to be in April of each year. You could request financial results in March or every 6 months or every 9 months, and they would present the same as these audited financial statements. So I think increased timeliness as well as increased reliability of the figures throughout the year will be great benefit to Council.
Okay, that's great. Any other comments, Council? No. Any comments from staff? No. Well, we thoroughly appreciate your audit and your staff coming to work with our staff as well. I have heard good things about your staff as well. So thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Now we have public participation. Does anybody in the public wish to speak at the microphone? If so, identify yourself and the street you live on. Thank you.
Gary Lamb, Hackamore Drive. Just one question that I have. The cash and cash equivalents make up over 45% of the assets on the balance sheet. I'm wondering if some portion of that has been designated to reserves, and as such, why there would be no disclosure that certain of that cash and cash equivalents has been reserved for certain specific purposes. Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Did you have any other questions, Gary, or just that one? Ms. Lee, could you comment on the cash and cash equivalents, please?
26 million noted as cash and cash equivalents. In the notes to the financial statements, note 2, it indicates that 7.3 million is held in bank deposits and 18.7 million in money market funds. And then in note 7 to the financial statements is where the detail of 19.2 million being held in reserve. And so of the 26 million, 19.2 million would be restricted and held in reserve.
Okay. Do you have any other comments on that, Gary?
Just, I understand, but generally is it not, where you specifically tie the reserves back into cash? Like, got the reserves in a separate note, but a substantial portion of that cash reserve is earmarked already. So I'm just wondering why there's no reference to cash to reserve.
Sure. Yeah, there wouldn't be any specific requirement in the standards that requires specific disclosure of that, but the information is within the financial statements, and if management wishes to enhance the disclosure to tie that together, that's certainly a possibility. There's nothing restricting that, but also nothing requiring it in the accounting standards currently.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from participants? No. Okay. Okay, with that, council, I was wondering if somebody could move the motion.
I will move that council approve the District of Metchosin Consolidated financial statements year ended December 31st, 2024.
This is moved by Council Shukin, seconded by Council Gray. Or sorry, Council Donaldson, seconded by Council Gray. Go ahead, Council Donaldson, do you want to speak to that?
No, I just am appreciative of KPMG doing another thorough audit, and that it has gone more swift this year with having our staff having things readily available, and our new CFO making sure that we're on target with, as we say, even going into the future with the new software, real-time finances. Big improvement.
Councillor Gray? No? Okay, with that, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? No, none opposed. Thank you. Okay, with that, I'll call for an adjournment.
Move adjournment.
Moved by Councillor Shukin, seconded by Councillor Donaldson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great, thank you.
Everyone, thanks for patching me and Marie-Therese, and have a good night, everyone. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.